Squirtle, Squirtle. Squirt, squirt, squirt.
Someone check on Squirtle. Island of the Giant Pokémon is an episode from the first season of the Pokémon anime, 17th overall, that is highly remembered by fans. The bizarreness of it stuck out to so many people. As the title implies, it is about, well, an island of giant Pokémon.
Huh? Who would have thought?
Giant fully evolved starters and giant legendaries that the viewer eventually learns are being controlled in a Pokemon theme park funded by Giovanni. But that's not what people remember it for. What people really think about from this episode is this.
Pikachu?
Now, a lot of people talk about these moments, and it makes this episode stick out, especially to me, to the point where it inspired me creatively. Now let's break down the episode first, but to do that, we'll need some context. This was part of a multi-parter surrounding the SS Anne, or Saint Anne. Why'd they even change that? It kind of feels arbitrary. But anyway, the episode is the third part of this. To recap the first two, Ash and Co board the Saint Anne, they have a blast, Ash owns Eradicate for 5 seconds, James gets caught in a pyramid scheme, Team Rocket attacks the boat, revealing that this was just a trick to steal everyone's Pokemon. They defeat them, but oh no, the ship sinks. Ash and Co, along with Team Rocket, have to band together with Pokemon that are far too big for this ship.
Onyx, make a staircase!
They escape the ship. James gets buyer's remorse from said pyramid scheme and kicks the Magikarp, causing it to evolve, meaning yes, James's boots are laced with rare candies. The newly evolved Gyarados uses Dragon Rage, which in the early anime equates to a deadly water cyclone. Amazing how much the anime differs from the games, and they're blasted to this island. And keep in mind, this was the first big multi-parter of the show. They packed this much insanity into it, and this was all right before a certain banned episode I covered in a previous video. But back on the island, what really kicks this conflict off is Ash realizing that a good chunk of his Pokemon are missing, which you quickly learn are Pikachu and the Kanto starters.
I only have 2 of my Pokemon!
This means Ash still has Pidgeotto and Butterfree on him, making you question why the heck he doesn't just use them for aerial search, but common sense and Ash Ketchum don't always go together.
You stupid.
We also learned that Team Rocket lost their Pokemon and...
I've lost the Pokeball with the Ekans I got for my birthday last year!
The Pokeball with the coughing I got for Christmas is gone too!
Okay, I know they were probably gifted those from Team Rocket themselves, as those are standard Rocketmons in the games, but I could totally see James's rich-ass parents being so horrible that they give him a ball of poisonous gas. Also, these are presents for various seasonal Japanese holidays in the original. But now the main attraction, the subtitled Pokemon. Sorry all dub watchers, including myself, you gotta watch it subbed for the full experience. The scene subbed, that is. It's so funny that this is what people remember this episode for, because a lot of what they say is pretty basic, all things considered.
Pikachu? Squirtle, Squirtle, Bulbasaur.
You do get a bit of insight into their personalities though. Pikachu is the de facto leader, leading the others on this quest to find their trainer and is the most level-headed of the group. Charmander's the more sensitive type, a lot more overly concerned. When you factor in who Char's original trainer was, this makes a lot more sense. Bulbasaur's the grump.
Bulbasaur, Bulbasaur, Bulba.
Jeez, you might as well just put Eeyore in their place. And then there's Squirtle, the funny guy.
Squirtle, Squirtle. Squirt, squirt, squirt.
I'm sorry. What the f?
The guy who yells fire in a crowded movie theater. Then again, he wasn't a rambunctious gang previously, so it checks out. A good chunk of the episode is explored with these Pokemon interacting, with Meowth and Team Rocket's Pokemon in tow, as they have several run-ins with the titular giant Pokemon. Also, I love the touch of Coughing's grammar in these subs.
Coughing, 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 coughing.
You just know if they had a voice, it'd be a fun, dopey Patrick Star type. Also, Ekans definitely emphasizes the S's in their words like a lot of talking snakes in media do. These clowns also give Meowth an existential crisis.
It can't be! My master's not around and I always seem to act like a rat.
Speaking of Team Rocket, what are they doing this episode?
Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light!
Surrender now, or prepare to fight.
Do they do this every time they talk to Giovanni? Also,
You fools had better have a very good reason for calling me this early in the morning.
I know he was probably getting ready, but he totally seems like the type to sleep in his power suit. Ash and Co's subplot won't be getting a lot of focus because it's just them looking around and reacting to the giant Pokemon.
It looks like a Charizard!
An evolved Charmander?
Rip Charmeleon, no mention. Oh, and the Pokemon get drunk. Yes, really. Now, the subtitles are gone for this particular scene, but that's because they were cut from the dub. Here's what they were in the original. It's not clear as to why these were cut, but I like to think it's because the Pokemon were all drunk off their asses, complete with a hey barkeep. Yes, this was a real episode. Yes, early Pokemon could get this out of pocket. You know, now that I think about it, Bulbasaur does have low-key Brian Griffin vibes, just, you know, more likable.
My therapist thinks he's figured out what my problem is. He, thinks I'm in love. Oh my god, you can talk!
And now we get what's probably my favorite Pokemon interaction this episode, them convincing each other to hit up their final evolutions. Squirtle is coming in strong.
Squirtle! Squirtle, Squirtle!
Slay, Squirt. And then there's this.
Bulba, Bulba.
Damn, Bulbasaur, you want to talk? We're an open forest here. You can talk about anything. Now, despite the subtitles giving us a clear-cut way of 100% determining their personalities, a viewer could easily infer this from most other episodes. However, to a kid like me, critical details like that weren't important. It was seeing these Pokemon talk in a time before Mystery Dungeon was a thing. Stuff like this can spark your imagination, or at least it did to mine. To get a little personal, when I was a kid, I'd wonder why no other episodes of the show had these subtitles, specifically the Pikachu shorts that play before the movies, as it feels super fit for that. There are probably obvious factors to why, but it's those little things, you know? Because of this, I'd frequently dub over these with what I think they were saying, basically real-time fan dubs before they had a name, which ultimately led to me having my own little headcanons about a lot of Ash's Pokemon. And then this sort of evolved into me writing fanfiction about them. I may explore some of these old fanfics in another video, but the point is, it ultimately led me to realizing I love coming up with stories. In a way, it was super important for my creative development. It helped spark ideas in my head when I was as young as 7. So without this episode, you probably wouldn't have my webcomic dubs sprinkled around this channel. And to this, I salute the episode. Also, the giant Pokemon are bots.
That's weird. Looks like that was a mechanical Pokemon.
So after all this insanity, them getting their Pokemon back, and being sent on a roller coaster, you find out that this is a Team Rocket funded park. You know, a lot of people like to complain why certain elements of the games aren't in the anime, but I want to see a Team Rocket funded amusement park in the games, especially if it's just casual grunts running carnival games. It'd be so goofy. This episode is quite the strange one. A lot of the early episodes had a lot of strange moments, such as real fish and even Misty holding up a cross, but out of all of those, this is one that sticks out to me the most for a good reason. You could chalk up a lot of this to what's referred to as early installment weirdness. And that's always such an interesting topic in shows. Those awkward early episodes where the writers are still trying to find their footing, so they'll occasionally try these experiments. Heck, the Bizarro episodes aren't even just limited to the early ones. While there's far less, I can cover them in the future because I do find these types of episodes super fascinating to talk about.
Run! It's Godzilla! It looks like Godzilla, but due to international copyright laws, it's not.
But anyway, the episode ends with them arriving at a location that will surely lead to some wholesome family entertainment.
Chica!
Yes, I know I already covered this episode, but damn it, little Chico, you ruined a good ending gag. I got goddamn personal in this video and everything.